Hello everyone, my name is Vivek Rajaram Patkal. I'm the founder and director of Edu-Master online tutoring services. I'm very pleased to let you all know that we have started an interview series. This interview series is very special to me because we are going to host some bright tutorpreneurs who have done it really big in this tutoring industry. So today, as a guest of honor, we have Miss Dori here, who is actually very hardworking, very talented, and whatever questions you have in maths, I hope she can solve it. So, Dori, welcome to our interview series. Can you please introduce yourself to our audience?
Thank you so much, Vivek, for that warm welcome. I'm honored to be part of your series and I'm super excited to be here. So thank you so much for having me. My name is Dori Osmond and I am a Canadian math tutor. I tutor math for middle and high school as well as SAT and ACT math and GED math as well. So I also do some test prep and a little bit of competition math. So that's me in a nutshell. And I'm super happy to be here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dori. So, can you please let us all know about your journey, how you started, when you started, and where are you right now?
Sure, I'd love to. Wow, that's a lot. Okay, so I guess to start my journey, I'm going to go back to university, and I studied engineering for a couple of years. And after 2.5 years of engineering, I decided that it wasn't where my passion lay. And I changed and I switched into a finance major. So I completed a Bachelor of Commerce degree with a major in finance. Now, when I went into the finance, the math was so easy after having completed, 2.5 years of engineering. So I started helping all my fellow students around me who are like, I don't get it, I don't understand. I'm like, oh, here, let me show you. So that led to, yeah, that's just my nature. I love helping people. So that led to, I was doing it so much, and then I was starting to get people like who weren't friends coming up and saying, hey, I heard that you're really good with this. So that's when I started tutoring, and I was tutoring my peers in finance in university, and started tutoring younger grades or younger years in university, I should say. And then in my third year of my finance degree, the university had heard about me, and they approached me and they actually hired me to become an official tutor for the university to tutor their championship football team. So we were the national university level. Yeah. So I did that for my last year and a half at the university. And so after that, though, I didn't, at that time, I was just kind of thinking as tutoring as a part-time job. I didn't think about it as a career, right? So I finished my finance degree and I started working in the banking and investment industry. And I stayed in that industry for 17 years in total, including a couple of part-time jobs that I had in university as well. So but then what I noticed, I loved that at first because I was helping people with their investments and their finances and guiding them, and I felt like I was making a difference. But what happened is, as I got promoted higher and higher within the banks, and now I'm working at head office, I found that I had my head buried in a computer all the time. So I was disconnected from the clients and the customers and the people I was helping. And what I started to notice is that the highlight of my day was when a coworker would come over and say, hey, Dori, I don't know how to do this. I'd be like, oh, here, let me help you figure it out. Or I know how to do that. Let me help you with it. And that's what brought joy to me, was not the job itself, but was helping explain something, whatever it was, to someone else. So as time went by, like around this time, I was starting to think, I need to make a change. This is, not this head office corporate job, even though it looked very impressive on paper. And my friends were like, oh, wow, that's, but it wasn't in my heart. It wasn't what I wanted to do. So kind of as a blessing in disguise in the aftermath, after the financial crisis, our bank, like the financial crisis, banks were laying people off. So my team had made it through a number of rounds of layoffs, but eventually the day came and it was my turn to be let go. And it was a little bit of a shock at first, but then I started thinking, oh no, this is what I wanted. This was like the kick in the butt I needed to get out the door, right? And I made a decision, even though a headhunter approached me 2 days after I was let go saying, I have another company who wants to hire you to do the exact same thing. You can start on Monday for much higher pay than what you were making. And so problem solved, right? But I called her back and I said, no, I've decided I don't want to work for a corporation anymore. I want to do something that's fulfilling, where I can help people, and I want to be my own boss. So that's when I started kind of changing my mindset and thinking, okay, what am I going to do now? Right? Like, what am I going to do? And I actually didn't start tutoring right away. I actually started teaching dance, and eventually that led to teaching dance. I was teaching dance to adults and to children in the school systems, but eventually I started tutoring math after that as well. They're both like teaching and helping and running my own business. So that's kind of the journey that led me there and to where I am today. So
Actually, everyone is thankful to where you are today, where you are now, right now, today. So, the one thing which you mentioned, and I share the same feeling as you, is that even though you wanted to be a tutor before many years, and now I am also facing the same thing, like now I want to be a tutor. I am a tutor right now, but I want to take this as a full-time career. I have taken this recently, but there was lot of resistance for it, like even from my parents as well. They don't
yeah.
consider this as a stable field. Not even they, even sometimes I also feel that it's not a stable field. But as you said, like you went on from after engineering, you went into finance, MBA, you did your marketing degrees and all. So my main motive to start this tutorpreneur series is to make people believe that, yep, how they believe exactly in finance sector, the hotel industry, the tutoring industry is the same as well, and it's even more lucrative than that.
It can be, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, that was like a mindset shift that I had to make as well. Even I can't criticize. I've received that same criticism and that same questioning from my coworkers, colleagues, family, friends, absolutely. And I can't blame them, because I thought the same thing. Even when I left the corporate world, as I was saying, I started teaching dance first, and I was making that a career. And it's just because it didn't occur to me that tutoring could be a career. And I also received a lot of criticism. A lot of people saw what an impressive job I had before, and they're like, really, why would you leave that and go to tutoring? It doesn't make sense. And they're thinking of it not as a business, but just as something that a teenager would do on the side. And I think that when you're running tutoring when you're a professional tutor, it's very different than, a high school student helping their younger sibling or something like that. Basically, and when you talk about the financial aspect of it, yes, it absolutely can be lucrative. I think something to keep in mind is that whenever you start your own business, no matter what it is, it's not going to be steady the same way that a job would be. If you are an employee, you can bank on the exact same amount every single week. And however, even though it's up and down, it's more of a yo-yo. Whenever you own your own business, the sky is the limit. You are not limited by whatever the cap is that company tells you that position is worth. So it's interesting that you say that, because one of my personal goals, and I was so thrilled when I achieved this goal, was when I was looking at the income that I had generated from my tutoring business. And I saw it one month, I'm like, wow, I earned more money myself in my own business last month than I did when I worked at that impressive corporate job. Like, right? So
Absolutely right.
yeah, it's not only that it can be as good, it can be better than. But just keep in mind when you're starting out that it will yo-yo to get there, right?
Yep,
Because
it will
tutoring
always be a
doesn't,
yo-yo.
yeah.
It will
Like,
always be a yo-yo for sure. So income is secondary, but the fulfillment
absolutely.
which we get is the ultimate one. So today I got a very good news. I would like to share it with you and the audience
Yeah,
as
please,
well.
I'd love to hear.
Like before 15 to 20 days, I had a student come to me. He was very much anxious, very much stressed about the studies, and because of the stress, he did not attempt his final exams only.
Oh no.
And the school said that you have to give the exam for complete subjects, and you have to prepare for it in 15 days only.
Okay.
So the other children who learned that in the whole year, this guy who was anxious, who was very much stressed, the school even forced him more to be stressed. The school said that you have to complete the whole syllabus and you have to give the exam if you want to go to the next grade. From 9 to 10
Yeah.
they were going to pass him. And means frankly speaking, I was not very sure that I would be able to deliver that promise to the parent. So the same place where I'm sitting right now, the parents were sitting before 15 to 20 days. They said, sir, will you please help us out from
Yeah.
this? I said, not an issue, I will give my best. He has to work hard, like very
Mm-hmm.
hard, because
Mm-hmm.
if I'm tutoring him for 2 hours a day, he has to work himself at least 2 to 3 more hours. And that
Mm-hmm.
wonderful kid, he did wonders. I was tutoring him for 2 hours. He used to sit with me for 4 more hours.
Wow. That's amazing, Vivek.
Yup. And the
Congratulations.
parents first day only called me that, what have you done to our child?
It's incredible how if a student feels they're being supported and they're allowed to make mistakes, it's amazing how much they can open up and just succeed,
Yup.
compared to if they're scared to say the wrong answer because they're scared they're going to be blamed by their teacher, or they're scared that their classmates are going to make fun of them if they say the wrong answer. So in school, in a classroom setting, students are very different than when you get to work with them one-on-one. There's this light bulb moment where you can see that they realize you're on their side and
Yup.
you want them, like you're there to help them. And yeah, you can get incredible results. So
Yup.
congratulations to you. That's amazing.
Actually, the
Wow.
child did not study maths the whole year. Like this year, it was the online learning. In India, it's
Yeah.
a very new concept. In US, I do have some children from there as well. They are very much okay with it. But in India, it actually was a really new concept for students to go online and learn everything. So
Mhm.
many of them consider the whole year as holiday.
Well, you know what? Actually, the same thing happened here in Canada as well, Vivek, in that our schools were always in person as well. The students, we've been a tiny bit before where they had the option in high school to do one online course, but most of my students did not enjoy that. They were for regular school 100% in person. And then when COVID hit and we were all locked down, the schools, even the teachers, I felt badly for the teachers because they had no guidance or training as to how to teach online. And overnight, they were required to change how they taught their classes. And the exact same thing happened here. So many students just didn't do anything. That was, in the spring of 2020. And as a result, come the fall of 2021, so this past fall in September when the new school year started, they'd forgotten everything. They were so far behind that I was getting calls left, right, and center. My business just exploded. I was fully booked, in fact, overbooked. I was working 7 days a week. It was ridiculous. But yeah, those students really, really struggled because it switched to online. And I was met with a lot of resistance, like, well, your tutoring is online as well. How is this going to be different? But it's a completely different experience. And the other thing that's happened here, I don't know about like what the situation is in India, but because they tried to do smaller class sizes here and switched everything to online, they changed the schools. Instead of being you take one subject for the full year from September to June, now they've changed it, and a lot of schools have gone with quadmesters. So they've broken the school year up into four parts, and you do math from September to maybe November, and then November to January you do another course, and then January to April a different course. So maybe you take English in the first quadmaster, and then math in the second, and then geography, and then science or whatnot. And so I'm really worried about the start of this coming school year, because I have students who took math from September to November, and then they haven't touched it from November all the way to September. That's almost a full year. So I think that there's going to be a whole epidemic of students who are, I don't remember, and they're going to feel so far behind next year. So
Yup, they're feeling
tutoring, I
and they
think
will be
online
behind.
tutoring is just going to become so much more important because of
Yup,
what's happened with the pandemic. Yeah.
yup. It has become a part of the life right now. We can say that. And
Yeah.
the good news, I forgot to tell you.
Yeah.
The parent actually called me today and she said that Vivek, I got the result of Mayur today, and she said he has passed all the subjects. I I was like, oh my god.
And he was scared to write any of them.
No, he
Wow.
didn't write. He didn't write. He actually thought so much underconfident that, and he hardly talked to me in the tutoring class as well. He was so
Wow.
underconfident, like, means he was not believing in himself so much. I don't know what motivated him, but that guy, after no study, not studying for the whole year, he was the same person to come to the same flat, some place where I am here, and sit
Mhm.
6 to 8 hours. The first day, parents are astonished. What is happening with our kid?
Wow.
Who was not ready to sit for the class is going to self study himself. So
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, okay, I can change something.
That's
It's like,
amazing. That's so incredible when you have those experiences. And you know what?
yep,
That's when that happens, it's like, that's why I do this, right?
yep.
And I'm sure you think the same. It's those
Yeah, I
moments.
actually think the same. And the bad part about it is that nobody can understand us other than tutors, and we cannot explain it to others as well. So
Yeah.
I think people should enter much into tutoring. It's very fulfillment. It's
Oh,
very fulfilling
absolutely.
journey, and income is like very lucrative. It's like people say food industry, technological university industry and all. They at least have to put some amount, or like 50% of the money which they are earning. They have to invest 50% of it. I think in tutoring, all we have to invest is our knowledge, and the income which comes is around 80%, 80 to 85% of whatever the service charges are. That is directly the net profit. So I don't think so that there may be other industries, but as much lucrative as this tutoring industry. And one more thing, Dori, it's actually been very nice talking to you, because we are just on the first question.
Oh my goodness.
I have actually taken like 8 to 9 interviews till now, but the first question continued for so long.
I was just chatting back and forth. I just
Yeah, it's going very interesting. Now the next question here is,
sure.
what was your thinking process when you started your tutorpreneurship journey?
Okay. Well, as I mentioned, after I left the corporate world, I actually started teaching dance first. So I knew that at that point, I knew that my passion lay in teaching, right? And another love of mine has always been dance. So it kind of made sense. Why not marry the two and teach dance? It logically made sense. So I started doing that. I was teaching adults wedding choreography and that sort of thing. So I was teaching adults privately. And at the same time as that, I was offered a position teaching, going school to school and teaching ballroom to grades 4 to 6 students. So around ages 9 to 11, 9 to 12, something like that. And what I noticed is for the adults, I loved that because it was private, I got to know them on a personal basis. I really loved that. So I got to know my students really well. And then on the children's side of it, where I was going from school to school, I loved the enthusiasm of the kids, and I loved working with the kids, but it was complete chaos. So they would sometimes give me up to 2 classes at a time, so up to 60 children. And the teachers were supposed to be there to help me, with classroom management and that sort of thing, to get the kids to settle down. But at a lot of the schools, the teachers would be like, oh, break time. And they just give me these students. And often, I remember one time, I'll tell you one time, I was teaching them in a gym. I had about 45 dance students, and they were grade 4, so age 9 to 10, and they were just running around and yeah. And then they, instead of giving me the full gym, it was a split gym with high school students playing lacrosse inside. So you can imagine what kind of a disaster that was.
The world
So
world
it
coming
was,
down.
oh my goodness. So as much as I loved working with the kids, it was causing me all kinds of stress. So, and the other thing too is I was traveling to the north end of the city for the dance, and then to the all over for the schools. So it started to occur to me, I started to think about what I did in university and how I was tutoring and how I got that same satisfaction of helping someone. but without the crazy of the chaos, I should say, of the overwhelming having to take care of so many students in a less than ideal environment. So it was around then that I was introduced to someone who ran a lucrative, not well, lucrative, yes, but an elite tutoring service. And I started working for them and I was loving it. And I started thinking I can do this on my own. I've always loved the idea of being my own boss, running my own business. And at the time, I was traveling from house to house to house to house. So for every hour I tutored, I was spending a minimum of an hour traveling from one house to the other. And I don't own a car, so I was taking public transit. And this just did not make sense to me. So I was trying at that time, this was probably about 4 or 5 years ago, I was trying to get those students to move online. The students that I had myself, not the ones through the agency, because other people started finding out that I was doing it and coming to me and that sort of thing. So eventually when COVID hit, it was the perfect opportunity. Now they had to try online. And ever since I've done that, it's just been the perfect solution. And I intend to stay online tutoring going forward. It is, I found it. I finally found that perfect niche, So yeah, the process was kind of trying to figure stuff out, navigating, going in a zigzag direction to get where I am today. But I'm so happy I finally found it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Actually, it's have been very inspiring journey on your end. And means one more thing, when my jumpstart journey was going on before, like 2 months, not 2 months, yeah, 1.5 months before our program just ended.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I was working as in-person home tutor before, like two
Hmm.
2 years before I had my first client. So before 2 years, I had my first client in the same apartment where I have rented my tuition academy right now. So uh, the first student is always special. So
Hmm.
they performed well. After that, they gave me so many leads and all. So it took me, like, I was a completely in-person tutor. I never liked online and all. Personally never thought that someone can learn online. Me being the tutor, I never thought, because never tried it myself. So I can say that I was not believing that people can come online and learn. So after
Hmm.
COVID hit, there was no other way for me to, like, say, earn a livelihood. It was a very tough time when COVID hit. So there was a
Hmm.
lockdown right at this moment in the previous year. Means
Yeah.
I actually had few partners, means in the sense, my first student's parent and two of their colleagues, they were interested in seed funding my academy. Like, we were going to
Oh,
open a very huge center on 1st of April, the last year, the previous year. But
mhm.
Corona struck us all down very badly. 23rd of March or 24th of March, it started a lockdown situation here in India. So the academy never opened. And
Oh,
I also feel, yeah, whatever happens, it's for the best. Because
yeah. I think that's a blessing in disguise too.
yup,
Yeah.
yup, yup. Initially, because had around five partners initially, and because I was not that much confident on myself, so I just tried to search out someone who would support me, or I need someone. We always
Right.
have that imposter syndrome in us, that
Yeah.
can I
Absolutely.
will be able, means, will I be able to do it or not, or this, will I be able to achieve these things or not.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
this COVID time, the lockdown, it gave me so much time and a lot of introspection. I was, means, everyone was alone in the lockdown time basically. So I got so much time to
Yeah.
think. And after that, I just thought, okay, It's fine. Anyways, I'm struggling. Why not start my own and struggle it? Go for the struggle phase. Because in the end, I will know why I am struggling. Why is it
Mhm.
it's happening? Because I was working in a startup before. Not the complete procedure is known to us, like the finance comes goes in the company, what is
Mhm.
happening, who is getting paid, who is not getting paid, why am I not getting paid, what is the particular reason. There were so many ladders and so many mystery boxes, we can say, that we have to open if we are working under someone else. So I just
True.
thought that
Yeah.
why not, let me try, because
Yeah.
nothing was working out at that moment. So my I just moved my offline students to online, because they also didn't have any other option, and I
Mhm.
wanted to do it because I also had no other option. So
Yeah.
hence this careers and my journey started. So I established my company. Now there is around 7 people working with the company right now. 5 are tutors, 2 are non-tutoring staff who take care of the website and the content writing as well. So
Mhm.
it's
Wow.
it has
Good
been a
for
very
you.
good journey till means right
Yeah.
now. And I'm completely book solid right now. It's not.
Congratulations. That's
Yeah,
incredible.
means actually I was booked solid before the jumpstart program as well.
Oh wow. And you still took that you're similar to me as me then because I was
Yep,
booked solid before. In fact, I was overbooked like I was mentioning, so I couldn't take it. But
yep,
then I still wanted to take it just because, I feel even though we're teachers, you never stop learning, right? That's the
yep.
key to life. Never you can there's always something new you can learn.
It's always there are lots
Yeah.
of things new.
And it's interesting that you talking about that learning process. It's interesting that you were saying that you didn't think that you could teach online. And um, although I kind of had that idea that, yeah, we could do this online somehow, prior to COVID, it wasn't until after the pandemic that I really started studying all of what could be done. And my eyes were open wide. It is incredible the
Yep,
amount of interactive tools that are available today um, that I had no idea those existed. So it's in a lot of ways, I've had so many of my students who, before the pandemic, I tutored in person. And now I'm tutoring them online, and they were resistant. They did not want to try online, and they have since come to me and say, oh, I like it better. I find it's more effective. I learn better. I can hang out in my bedroom and have my lesson with you, or like wherever I'm comfortable. I don't need to find a space for a second tutor. Like it's not only is it more convenient for us as tutors, but it's also more convenient for the students. And there's more tools available to
yep,
us. Yeah, it's
yep.
incredible.
It's actually incredible, and it's safe and secure as well.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. 100%. Yeah.
It's a very, what we call, a good advantage of online learning. And
Mhm.
my students actually love having their favorite dishes when the class is going on. In
Amazing.
person, it's quite of difficult. Like they cannot have what they like, or if they want to drink a coffee or tea or somewhat like that during the class, they
Right.
they can have it now at.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
now, coming to the next question, do you think, is there anything called a right time to start the tutoring journey?
Oh, wow. You know what? I think if you're out there watching this and you think that it might be something that you want to do or you're planning to do it, you are never going to feel 100% ready. You're never going to feel like, okay, first let me just like build my website and get my online presence and do all that. And then once that's finished, then I'll start. It's not ever going to happen. You need to, I want to say, you need to plunge, you need to jump in. and try it and see if it's something that you enjoy. And then that process of learning more and refining your skills, whether it be how to teach online or, you know, whatever it may be, is going to be an ongoing journey, a process that's going to continue throughout your career. So I said maybe you're like, no, I just want to get my website built, but once you have your website built, you're going to want to change it and modify it and improve it, you know.
Yeah. I never like my updated website. I just want to change something always in that.
Always. So I'm working on my website. I'm always, a year from now I'm still going to be working on it. 10 years from now I'm still going to, I know it, right?
Yep.
So there's that. However, I would say, like, yes, jump in, but as a bear, like, I would say practice, right? If you're not sure, practice with someone. So learn how to use Zoom, learn how to share the tools, learn how to use an interactive whiteboard or whatever tools you think you'll need for whatever you're tutoring, and then find a friend or a family member and just do a practice session. And then from there, maybe, you know, find someone with a child who's struggling with whatever it is that you teach and offer them, say, hey, how would you like to have a free tutoring session with me just to see how little Johnny likes it, right? And yeah, just go from there. And then that will give you enough feedback to know if you need to learn anything else before you get started. But yeah, if you know that's something you want to do, jump in, believe in yourself, go for it. You can do it.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's very hard to believe in ourselves because I have personally
No.
gone through this a lot of time, and I even go through it like almost 5 days a week.
Yeah. Yeah.
Believing
Well,
in ourselves. Yeah. Uh, it is actually very difficult to believe in ourselves, but as you said, taking the plunge, or you have to dive in, or you have to get down in the water to know the shallowness of the water, or else it's just assumptions. The water can be 5 feet deep, it can be a kilometer deep. It's just assumptions and just something that we'll be telling ourselves. Until and unless we get inside it, we are not going to get anything out of it. And
yeah.
hoping to
Yeah.
get out of it is also stupidity, I think so. So until and unless you plunge in, as you said, that we won't be able to know what exactly is it, how exactly does it work. And the best thing, it's to start, like
Yeah, just
whenever
try it.
yeah.
Exactly. Just try it and see how it goes. And, you know, you're going to run into things that you don't know. Yeah, but figure that out. See that as a challenge. Don't see that as, oh, I'm not good enough to do that. See that as, oh, something new for me to learn. I'm going to conquer this. I'm going to figure this out.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
right.
Very well said, Dori. And even to the audience or the person who is thinking that he won't be able to believe himself, or he will say that how can I do it, even very seasoned tutors have their own moment of imposter syndrome. Like,
Absolutely.
I have been tutoring for 1.5 2 years continuously, and this is my full-time thing, but still sometimes I feel that, oh, I'm doing something wrong, there is something less in me, I should have prepared well. And if some parent want to talk to me, I thought, oh, I always think, oh, what is that they want to talk to me? Is it about the problem which I did not solve the last month? The previous month?
Yeah.
Not the class is going on successfully, but
Yeah.
it's like thought goes. And
It's amazing how our own minds hold us
yup,
back.
yup.
Yeah.
And guys, it's very normal to think so. It's a humanly nature of having imposter syndrome. Even very big people like Warren Buffett, Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, they also suffer through imposter syndrome. But it's on us how exactly we take actions regarding to it.
Yeah. Yeah,
So then coming
exactly.
to the
Don't let those fears define you, right?
yup,
Exactly.
yup,
Exactly. There's a in dance, I had to, I'm not outgoing extrovert, look at me person. I'm, when I walk into a room, I'm kind of the quiet one, like, or I feel that way. I want to be that way, right? But in dance, I had to perform on stage. And when you go out there, you have to do it. Like you can't run away. So there's that saying, fake it till you make it. So
yup,
I would say that that applies to this too. Just even if you don't believe in yourself, pretend that you do.
yup,
Fake it till you make it. And eventually you'll start to believe it too. Right? Does that make
yup,
sense?
yup. It completely makes sense. Uh, just as you have mentioned about dance, and
Hmm.
I also don't like talking to people much often. Means if I know the person, I will talk to them. They will know me inside and out. But to talking to a new person, going to them, talking to them, it's out of the game, out of the game for me, out of syllabus we can say, out of network area. So in my school also, I used to never talk to much people. But when it came to dance, oh my god! Once in my ninth grade, I had the whole school shouting out my name.
So see, you've experienced the magic of dance too.
Yup,
Wow.
yup. I just recall that moment right now. So yeah, we can say. Now coming to the next question, what were the fears that you had, and what are the difficulties that you faced while starting and while you are in your tutorpreneurship journey?
All right. I guess, there was a few things. Running a business. I really didn't have any idea how to run a business. So things like I mentioned earlier, like building a website, even little things like invoicing, just how to set up a business, so many things, aspects related to that. I had no idea how to do any of it. But I learned. It took a lot of time. It took a lot of dedication. So, there's many hats that you have to wear if you want to become a tutorpreneur, if you want to own your own business. So I'll wear one hat when I'm tutoring, and that it's almost like I've got different jobs. So I've got one job, which is being a tutor, and then I've got a completely different job of running a business, of doing all the financials and my accounting and that sort of thing, and then of marketing, and uh, they're different skill sets. So I didn't have background. Well, I didn't know how to set that up for myself. So I guess that was probably one of my biggest challenges. When COVID hit, learning how to use all these online tools, they were all new to me. So how to let someone else move something on your screen, give them remote control so that the student can push the button that's on my screen. Like, how do I do that? How do I, you know, so there's a huge learning curve. Um, so those were all challenges that I faced, I guess, when I started the online business. Prior to that, a challenge I had, as I mentioned, was when I was doing online, was driving or commuting back and forth. So that was definitely a difficulty, but that was solved for me as soon as I went online. Yeah, so it's an adventure. You've got to think about it as an adventure. If you just want to go and collect your paycheck and you're just like, I just want to tutor, then in that case, it's probably better for you maybe to go work for an agency or to put your name on one of those, lists out there. But if this is, you got to think about it as a journey, and you're going to run into all kinds of things that are challenges that you're going to have to figure out how to solve. Right. So yes, I had a lot of challenges at the beginning. Those challenges do decrease as time goes by and you get proficient, you know what you're doing. But I know that there's going to be another one in the future. There's always going to be that. So it's more, how do you deal with it and how do you overcome it? And what's your attitude when something like that happens, right?
And I'm
Yeah.
very sure when the next problems or the next situation comes to you, you're going to strike it down.
Thank you, Vivek. I appreciate that. I hope you're right.
Yep. I'm very much sure about it. So here, coming to our next question, Dori, what are your plans for the coming 3 years and the 5 years now? Like many tutors have this hope and dream to be fully book solid. All the people in Jumpstart program have the dream of getting fully book solid. The moment I joined the Jumpstart program, I was already book solid. Before that,
Same. Yeah.
I was actually book solid. I am currently also book solid. My main purpose of joining the Jumpstart program was I wanted some clients from US
Mm,
and the other countries. So that was my main reason. I wanted to get my tutors busy as well, because as they are part of the team and they are actually the business, means they are running it very functionally. So I'm very lucky to have, means, just work as a guiding force. But after, means, you are already book solid now, what are your plan for the coming 3 to 5 years? Because if someone in the audience or me want to join you in your journey, like
mhm.
1 year from now, 2 years from now, or 5 years from now, so can you please let us know what do you think will be your future plans for at least 3 to 5 years from now?
Yeah, absolutely. I've got so many ideas. um, so growing my business, I'm actually not book solid anymore. And the reason for that is because, remember I told you about the school systems, how they changed to quad mastered. So it just so happens that all of the schools had math in the first and second quad master, all of my students, and then my students like dropped quite a bit. So I am still quite busy. But I do still have a little bit more room. But that just goes to show you like the yo-yo up and down effect, right? That you have to start. But you're correct. I have been book solid, and I don't know that that is my final goal 5 years from now. I think I still want to tutor, absolutely, because it brings me so much joy and so much fulfillment. So it's not something I want to stop doing, but I think that I'd like to explore other ways that I can help my current students more or reach more students. So I have ideas to maybe write a book with like math tips and tricks that I've learned over the years, maybe to start an online course that can supplement, that I can maybe give to my students as a free resource. If you sign up with me and then you want to review certain topics, here's a video series or something like that. So I have those ideas. As for expanding my business, I would love to work with other like-minded tutors. So I don't know what that looks like. I don't know if that looks like hiring other tutors and then becoming a manager, or if it just means collaborating with other tutoring businesses who are out there and creating a network. You know what
Yep,
I mean? Yeah.
yep. Because
So even
sometimes
though as
managing is
a
not our thing.
well, it's not that it isn't, but so I would absolutely be open to the idea of hiring other tutors and working with other tutors. it would have to be someone who's along the same wavelength as me, right? I
Yep.
don't want
The
to just,
frequency should match.
yeah, so that I know that if I pass a student on, my goal is I want the best for that student, right? So I need to know that yes, they are in good hands with this person,
Yep.
right? So yeah, absolutely. There's so many. That's one of the amazing things about this business is that there are so many different paths and so many different, different ways that you can grow it. Yeah.
Yep. Did you write the business plan in Jumpstart?
Yes. Yes. I
Actually,
I did not write a business plan before I started. Um, but after I'd been tutoring, actually pretty recently, I did write a business plan, and it is good to get everything organized and to focus down to what you want. So if you're out there and you're wondering, is it worth it? Does it matter? I'd say it is for your own self, even if you don't need it,
yep.
to get a loan, just for your own self. It helps keep you on path and remember
Yep.
what your goals and your purposes are. Yeah.
Actually, my business plan, which I wrote, uh,
Hmm.
nobody read it, I guess.
Yeah.
Because I wrote it. They asked us about like 5 years plan. So I wrote around, I want thousands of student and thousands of teachers teaching on my platform after 5 years at least.
Amazing.
So like 1,000 hours and 1,000 tutors, 1,000 students and 1,000 tutors, uh, is what I have written in my business plan. And I also said that okay, if I'm capable enough, I would buy a helicopter as well. So
My
they,
dream is to buy a second home in down south somewhere where it's nice and warm, so I can escape the cold Canadian winters.
yep, I actually wrote it, and nobody paid heed to it, because they said there should be something reliable, there should be something achievable. Yeah, I personally
Yeah,
feel it is achievable for
it
me.
is. Then you know what? I have every faith in you that you're going to do it. Then
And
I
thank you
believe
so
it.
much. I also hope that I will do it someday, and maybe I can show the same business plan which I made 5 years back.
Yeah,
I have kept that copy with me, very much saved. I have just saved that copy as well. Because yeah, business making a business plan will help us know at least a sentence I wrote that I will do this after 3 years. It will keep asking ourselves like, okay, you said you will do this after 3 years. Now 5 months are done. Where are you? 6 months are done. Where are
yeah,
you?
absolutely. Yeah, it's really important to have specific goals to reach for, right? Because it
I
gives you
hope I'm not
something.
taking too much of your time.
No worries. I'm good.
Okay.
I don't have another student for a little bit, so we're good.
Okay. Okay. So now coming to our next question, Dori. What were the initial reactions from your clients and colleagues when you started your tutoring journey?
Oh, as I mentioned earlier, you know, I I was met with a lot of resistance, not resistance, but questions. Are you sure this is what you want to do? People were saying, but you had such a great job at the bank. Like, why? And on paper, I did, right? But they were saying, why do you want to give up the security of the bank? And I'm like, whoa. What do you mean security in a corporate job? I was laid off, as were many of my coworkers, right? So people have this idea that if you have a job at a school or at a corporation, it's safe and secure. But that's not the case. If I'm running it myself, I know I can always depend on myself to work for me. So I don't see it that way. And yes, my family, they were worried. My mom was really worried about me financially. Like, what are you going to do? What if it doesn't succeed? What if, it's all these questions? And she was really, really worried about me financially. So that was hard. And I think that the reason that's hard is because you're going against what society tells us to do. Society tells us study at school, go to university, get a good job, stay in the job until you're 65, retire, and then live your life. But so if you do anything that's kind of outside of that, you're struck with, what are you doing? That's not how the plan goes, right?
Yep.
So yeah, it's that is definitely um, something that I experienced as well. But I think at the end of the day, you just really have to follow your heart and your gut and do what feels right for you and believe in yourself,
Yep.
versus doing what the outside world tells us we should do. So look inside, don't look outside for approval. Yeah,
Yep.
good question.
Actually, you and me share the same page again on this topic as well. It's like uh, resistance comes even though I am doing okayish right now in the tutoring field. Still, my parents, like, they are very much worried. Like, what am I gonna do? How the things are going to be there? Okay, this year you are having students. What about the next year? What
Right,
about next year to
right.
that? Because it's like I have just started my career. It's just 2017. I passed out my engineering, and this is the third year after my completion of graduation that I have jumped into this career. So they are like kind of worried. I was working as an
Mhm.
aero modeling trainer before. They were very much happy, but
Right.
it was not what we say that that much income generating source of means it was not that much income generating. I had to teach around 60 kids in a classroom, and I had to do that like for 2 to 3 hours a day. So it was like a very much uh, overwhelming schedule, very much stressed schedule and all. And the earning was also not that good as well. As I
Mhm.
was doing my part-time tutoring, my part-time tutoring was taking a toll on my full-time job in
Yeah.
terms of income. So I know what I am doing, but it's very difficult to make people understand. And it's like we cannot resist the people elder than us who love us so much, and they just want us to take whatever they are telling. They just enforce us with those things. What we
Mhm.
are telling is right and we have to say, yeah, you are right and all. So it's very difficult is what I want to tell you, that telling people or explaining them, what I think is explaining people what we are doing and what we are not doing, it's just waste of time. Going underground for 2 years is best. Like nobody nobody knows what we are doing until we are done with what we are going to do.
The pandemic had all sorts of silver linings, right? It
Yeah.
made us.
Yeah. I also think the same thing. It's not necessary to talk to people always. It's not that everyone carries a good positive vibe or positive energy. It's not about them as well.
Very, yeah,
It's always about our thoughts. But we as a social beings, we are affected by the thoughts surrounding us in our environment.
yeah. Well, the other thing, so I hear what you're saying, and although I was met with a lot of criticism from my former coworkers and my family, and initially, and I did put myself, I like you, I kind of put myself in my bubble too, and I'm like, oh, I can make this work, I'll show you, kind of thing. But eventually, I think it's also important to find people who are supportive, right? So it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to like do this on your own, I think it's finding your tribe, finding your your tutoring family, or finding people. It doesn't even have to be other tutors, it can be other like-minded entrepreneurs and that sort of thing. And I think that is important because none of us have all the answers, right? So I think it is important to go out and meet people, or meet people online, or interact with people who will push you and who will encourage you. So yes, follow your own heart, follow your own, what you know is best for you, but find people who will support you and motivate you and pump you up and believe in you to help you stay on course, stay focused, and do what you know you need to do. Yeah.
Yep, that's absolutely very correctly said, Dori. So now I want to ask you, what is something that you would like to tell a person who is just entering this tutoring journey, or who in his mind wants to start his tutorpreneurship journey? So what is something that you would like to tell him or her?
Ah, hmm. Let me think about that for a second.
Take your
I would
time. Sorry.
say, I would say what I mentioned earlier, like you're never going to feel ready. You're never going to be, just jump in, and do it. I would say that there are, what I mentioned earlier is there's the business side of it, and there is the tutoring side of it. So so jump in, but you can start small. So you mentioned you don't know what the depth of that water is. Earlier, you used that as an analogy, but I would say jump into shallower water first, right? Like I mentioned, go to a friend or someone and say, hey, I just, try it out with someone, offer them a free lesson. And then from there, maybe you could even offer, I'll give you a couple of free lessons in exchange for, if you're happy at the end of it, just write a review for me, right? That'll give you practice, and a review, testimonials are worth gold when you're first starting, because now you've got people advocating for you, showing you, yeah, this person knows what they're doing. Here's what they're good at. Um, so jump in, but don't go too full at first. You don't want to feel too overwhelmed. There is a lot. Don't go overwhelmed. Like, in order to not feel overwhelmed, make sure to take time for yourself, but every single day be consistent. Do work towards your long-term goals every single day, and eventually that work will pay off. But also take time. I take one day off a week for myself to go hiking and get outside, get some fresh air, that sort of thing. And I think that's equally as important. So
Yep,
yeah, that's my advice.
it's equally and actually more important as well.
Yeah.
uh, and one more thing I want to add is that it also depends on from whom we are taking the advice as well.
Oh, absolutely.
Because
Absolutely.
if you want to buy a Rolls Royce, you should not take advice from a Toyota owner.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is the starting,
Find
we can say
find
that.
find someone who's been successful, but who's been successful in a way that aligns with your values. So
Yep.
there's a lot of, and then use them as your mentor, as your guide. I know that, you mentioned that Joanne has been an inspiration and a motivation and a
Yep.
mentor to you. And I feel the same way in her group. I am so thankful for finding her community, and that aligns with me. I know that there's a lot of other very successful entrepreneurs out there, but their mindset is money first, and you know helping their clients second, and that doesn't align with what I believe and what I want to do. So I'm not saying that that's wrong, but find someone who's, as a mentor, who aligns with your beliefs and your way. If it doesn't feel right, it probably isn't right for you. That makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah.
And uh, experience means a lot of times I have experienced that whenever like we hear something or someone, if it is giving us the calmness of mind, like if the thoughts are balanced, if someone, even someone is talking, I think that is the perfect match, and you should approach that person to talk. If someone is talking and we are feeling motivated, yeah, I will do it. Yeah, the motivation stays till till the another video starts.
Yeah. Trust your gut. Stay
Yep.
motivated.
It's like
Stay
if
positive.
the vibrations are not stable, it's what I have experienced. If the vibrations are not stable when you meet a person or when you are hearing him or somewhat like that, I think if they are positive, negative, that doesn't matter, but they are vibrating.
Mm.
And I don't think so. It's a perfect match, because
Mhm.
your thoughts should, they are aligning with them, means either you are in their frequency or they are in your frequency, or both are aligning each other in each other's frequency.
Right.
So it's
Yeah.
very important. If you meet, means I personally see that if someone's talk is actually making my thoughts steady, or it's making them bounce. So
Mm.
that is how I judge many things. Means I have observed this and it has been proved many times. Like if
Mhm.
I keep on experimenting sometimes, like what will happen. Okay, let's see for a month, let's go for 6 months continuously, like a thought a day. It goes on increasing our understanding about a particular topic. So now here comes my next question. We all do some mistakes in our journey. Are there any mistakes that you have done and you regret them?
Uh, Absolutely. I make mistakes all the time. And I know I'm going to continue to make mistakes, but learning from them, I guess, the most important thing to do. I guess mistakes that I regret not starting online sooner. Yeah, I would say that's
Same.
it.
I feel the same.
Uh, but yeah, I guess everything's just, it's a learning experience, right? So did I make mistakes in how I wouldn't call them mistakes. I would say there's lots
Stepping
of
stone. The stepping
things that I
stones.
can do better, right? Like there's
Yep.
things that I did one way, or maybe software that I use to teach. And later I discovered there's a better way to do it, right? Like, for example, invoicing. When I started, I was typing it all in Word and then creating that, making a PDF out of that, and then sending it. And then later I discovered, oh, there's invoicing software that I could be using, right? So then I started using that software. Now it looks much more professional when I send it out. It's much easier. So was doing it in Word a mistake? Or I just found a better way to do it, and I'm sure in the future, maybe I'll find an even better way to do it. I'm
Yep.
sure, right?
Yep. And that's when we appreciate when we get good things. Like if
Yeah.
if you would have found the software first only, means we as a human, we have that tendency, right? If we reach here, then I stay there for 6 months, then I will say no, I want to go here. Then
Yeah.
I stay here for 6 months. It was my lifetime dream to reach till this point. I reached there. For 6 months I stayed there, then I said no, I want to go here somewhere. I don't know. It's human behavior, I guess.
Of
We
course. Of course. And I love what you said about appreciating it. You're right. I am so thankful that I found that new invoicing software, that I wouldn't have had that appreciation for it had I not first gone through creating it myself in Word and doing everything very manually. right? So those mistakes make you appreciate when you find the right way to do it. So
Yep.
yeah.
And you become a better guide in that particular part as well. It's
Yeah,
like
absolutely. Absolutely.
it's like
Yeah.
whenever I see some of my juniors or someone like doing the same mistakes which I have done, I just go to them. I tell them very nicely, bro, where you're heading. There is a sad end at the there is a
There's a better
sad part in
way.
there. So I don't stop him. I will tell him that okay, please continue doing it for 15 days at least. And after that, I will tell you some other thing. Come and meet me after 15 days. So he should also appreciate it. It should not be like we got it after so much struggle. Not my personal feeling that we should let them struggle and then give them the easier way.
No. Yeah.
But they
No, no,
should
no.
know what actually is a struggle and how can there be a easier way of finding it. I even let my students struggle, like I know they are doing it wrong, or they are actually going through a longer way. I let them go through it. Okay,
Mhm.
solve. And I tell them only one thing: when you solve, I am going to tell you very one something magical, and it will change your way of solving such questions in the time. Then they start thinking, oh, he has something else in his mind right now. So then they'll continue the same method after 5 minutes. Then I will say, you know what, you could have done it in a minute only. You could have said
Yeah.
4 minutes of your life. Then
Yeah.
they say, oh, why didn't you tell us about it before? There would have been no fun, right? If I would have told you.
Well, sometimes too, they're resistant to learning, right? When I've had that where I tell a student, oh, I see what you're doing. Would you like to see a faster way? No, 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 no. I want to do it my way. Okay, you do it your way, and after I'll show you my way. How does that sound? All right. And then they do it the long way, and then afterwards it's like, oh, but had they not gone through that process and done it the hard way themselves, they wouldn't know that my way was better, or not my way, but the new way was better. They would have nothing to compare it against, right? So they wouldn't have the appreciation for it. Yeah,
Yep.
you're 100% correct. Yeah. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
right.
And it's actually entertaining.
I think we teach in a similar way.
It's actually very entertaining. We actually know, okay, he is struggling. Sometimes I feel that I I have few students. If they do some mistakes in their exams, I will actually guess and tell them that you have done this
Yeah.
mistake, and they said, yes, sir. How did you come
How
to
did
know
you
about it?
know?
I'm like, I'm duplicate Thanos.
I know I do the same thing, Vivek. My students tell me I'm a mind reader. They're like,
Yeah.
you've got to be a mind reader.
They also say me the same thing. So what I have started newly now, I tell them that I am duplicate Thanos. Means the original Thanos was in Avenger movie. Now I am the duplicate part of it, and I know a lot of magic. I can do anything. And, it's very easy to predict their steps. Small
Mhm,
children, it's very easy to read their mind. Or we have, if we have seen them, observed them very nicely, we know that
mhm.
this guy doesn't put bracket.
Yeah, yeah, you get to know your students, right? You get
Yep.
to know, yeah,
He doesn't put bracket, and this minus and this plus, he is going to write it as plus only, or
yeah,
minus into minus, he is not going to make it plus sign, he is going to keep it as minus only. So we observe them very clearly, and then we get to be a superhero. When we
I
just
like
guess it.
that. A tutor hero.
Yeah.
Tutor hero. Like it.
And did you ever feel like giving up in this journey?
Every month. Honestly, there's going to be something happen. There's going to be days when absolutely. There's days when I'm working, I'm putting the work in, and I'm probably working on my business. So I'm not getting paid for those hours. And I think to myself so frequently that this would be so much easier if I just went back and had an office job. And then it's like, I almost hear myself saying that. And I'm like, whoa, no.
You didn't say
And
that.
then I
You didn't say
remember,
that.
no, that would not be better. Yes, I'd get a steady paycheck. Yes, I'd get paid for every hour I work. But would I be happy? No. Would I have the fulfillment I have from the students I have? And all I need to do is look back at where I was and what I've built over the last few years. And it's just like, that's why I do it. Or I'll have one of those moments like the student that you mentioned right at the beginning of this call, where you just make a difference for them, or you're in that meeting and you just see their eyes light up because they finally get something, and it's like, oh, it's all worth it. It's all worth it. So yes, it's a lot of hard work, and there are times when you're doing the hard work and you don't immediately see the results, but those results will come in the future, right? So if you start to feel like that, if you start to feel like you want to give up, that's your body's way of telling you it's time to close the book, close the laptop, go outside, go for a walk, refresh, reboot. So that's why I was saying, like, those breaks, whatever it is that you do, whether it's yoga or hiking or whatever, it's important to keep that there, right? And keep you motivated. Yeah.
Yep. I actually like asking this question
Okay.
lot of all the tutors. Why? Because I personally feel like giving up almost every day. Like it's like 5 times. I also mentioned the same thing to Joanne. It's like 5 times in a week I will feel very low and I actually want to give up. But those 2 days I will be happy because some inquiry will come. Someone says, I want to learn something or somewhat like that. I get very happy. That day
Yeah.
is like, okay, uh, it's like conquer the whole world. Like one day is so low and the other day is so high. It's
Yeah.
very difficult, as you said. It goes on down and it goes on up, down and up. So it's very, what we call, everyone feels it, I guess. And
Yeah.
i
I think
I
what it
just want
is,
to, yep, and I just want to see like other people's also feel the same as me or not.
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I have those feelings. I think that when they come over me is when I'm looking at the big picture of everything I want to accomplish. And, I'm trying to do everything and it just feels so overwhelming. And it's like, whoa. And if I've been working for hours and hours, but, um, you know, I'm sure anyone who runs a marathon, I'm sure they want to stop and give up 100 times, 1,000 times during that race. But all you have to remember, because one step doesn't feel like much, right? One step, but that's all it is. One step, one step, one step. And then at the end, you've accomplished this really incredible thing. So if you think about, oh my God, I've got to run a marathon, I've got this many steps left, yeah, you're going to want to quit. You're going to want to give up. But if you just stay focused, no, I just have to take one more step. No, I just have to do one more thing. Then it becomes much more manageable. But
And
yeah, I hear you. I feel the same.
meeting you online is also one of the steps, most more important steps in my marathon, at least, Dory. So these are
Aw,
actually the steps which I am taking and collaborating and talking with the tutors from around the globe.
yeah,
It's actually gives me a lot of strength. uh, the whole day I keep on working and everything, but these are the moments which I love and talk, means love talking to the people who we share the industry with. It's like, yeah, it's a $1 billion industry, people say. It's not going to become less if I have some amount in my pocket as well.
No, absolutely. There's that potential is limitless. It
How
really is.
difficult, according to you, is scaling up in tutoring?
Um, it's something that some people decide that they want to do right away, and it's something that other tutors never do. So it's not something that's a requirement. It depends what you want to do. Do you want to be a tutor yourself, or do you want to be a people manager? Do you want to, you know, or there's other ways to look at it. There's different ways to scale up. Yes, I could scale up by hiring other employees, or maybe I could scale up by, instead of tutoring one-on-one, maybe I can offer group classes, like a combination of group classes and individual tutoring. Or maybe it looks, like creating online content that corresponds with the in-person tutoring that you're giving. So I think scaling up looks different for everyone across the board. Um, it's something that I did start to do when I was overbooked. And at the end of the day, for me, I felt as though in my business, it is something I want to do, but I want to go back to the drawing board in the same way that I created a business plan for my individual tutoring business. I think I want to go back to that stage and get a really clear idea as to how you want to scale your business. And that may not look the way you thought it would. So for me, I thought that scaling up was going to be hiring other tutors. But now that I've experienced that, I'm not sure that that's how I want to scale my business. And now I'm looking in other directions, for different ways that I want to accomplish that. So if I look to the future, a few years from now, I think I would like to, as I mentioned earlier, right, I've got a couple of ideas for books that I'd like to write. So I'd like to author a couple of books that can also support the students that I have. And I think I'd like to create some video support materials and that sort of thing. So it offers a way to scale up, but I can still be that tutor. I can still work one-on-one with my students. I don't necessarily need to stop tutoring, hang up my hat, and suddenly become a manager of a tutoring institution. You know what I
Yep,
mean? But
yep. I
yeah,
completely
not
understand.
that that's wrong. If you want to do that, absolutely, absolutely, right?
Yeah,
But
I can give you one solution to this managing part as well, because
sure,
I, I found out that I am good at managing people and tutoring as well. So
amazing.
if you find any inquiry other than your niche, so please try
Hmm.
looking us out at it. If there is some inquiry, so you will not have any headache. Even if I am teaching or any of my tutor is teaching, the complete responsibility will be mine, of my complete team. You just have to take on the leads, pass them on, or you can just take them under your banner. And how actually we work is, it's not like that we are going to enforce the tutor on the students. The student is always empowered on our platform. So first, initially we give a demo of 1 or 2 tutors for an hour for every student. And
Hmm.
if they feel that the teacher who is teaching is a good fit for them, an hour
Hmm.
or 2 hours, so if they feel that the teacher is good fit, then we do the remaining formalities with the parent or the company who is providing us the lead with. So it's not like that we are going to give them just one demo option. I do have very much experienced team, like they are teaching more than my age. They have their experience
Mhm,
more
mhm.
more in teaching than what my age is actually. So if you get some inquiries which are out of your niche, please think of us, means about
Yeah.
us. And anytime you get any much overwhelmed, like writing the content, making the website, or editing the videos, please let me know out. I'll be very happy to help you out, because I do have a team with me. They are working continuously, and some more good cause, they will work for some more good cause if you are also, your work is also there. So
Yeah, I love that. Thank you so much, Vivek. That means a lot to me. And I fully think that tutors should be doing, just what you're suggesting, and collaborating with each other and working together and supporting each other and helping each other grow, versus me thinking that your competition, or the other tutor down the street is competition. That's like a limiting belief, right? So
yep,
the more that we can
the
help each
more we
other, send
collaborate, yep,
clients to each other, find the best fit, because that's, at the end of the day, that's what I want for the students. I want the best person to help them.
yep,
And yeah, by helping each other, we help the industry grow. We help recognition for the industry. We help, just like what we're doing right now, right?
yep,
We're having an interview with each other and learning about each other's businesses. And just like you said, different tutors or different people are going to have strengths in different areas. So I appreciate you offering the support of your skills, video editing, that sort of thing. And likewise, if you ever need, I don't know, higher level math, or SAT math, or anything that I can offer, I am more than happy to share my knowledge and what I've learned with you and with other tutors. Yeah.
for sure. I means will be in contact with you, and we are going to have one more interview with you when you get again completely book solid, means double double book solid.
Oh, I'd love to meet you again.
It's
Yeah.
actually means when you are working around 40 to 40 hours a week, and you have hired people for working 40 hours for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when that moment is achieved, we are again going to get on an interview, and that
Sounds
will
good.
be that will
Sounds
be
good.
absolutely
Sounds good.
very much what do you call, the best thing that will happen to this interview series, I guess. Yeah. So
Yeah, I
now,
would love to meet with you again, Vivek. I hope, yeah, that would be really exciting. And
yep,
I appreciate you having me and inviting me to your series. It means so much to me. I feel, really honored that you would have reached out all the way across the oceans to me and found me here in Canada. Like, the online world has just made the world such a smaller place, right?
yep,
Who no one would have dreamed that this would have been possible, what we're doing right now,
yep,
uh years, 20 years ago, or whatnot. It's just incredible. Yeah.
yep. Online actually has made the world very short, because here it's now the time is, I guess, oh, I never knew the time has passed so much. It's 1:30 a.m. in the night here.
Goodness, yeah, it's 4 p.m. here, and I have a student coming up
Okay.
pretty
So
soon, so
one more thing, Dori, just the last question for you. If
yeah.
some student or some tutor who wants to learn from you, the students who want to get in touch with you, or their parents who are watching your interview, so can you please let us all know that how can we get in contact with you for your tutoring services? I will also put the details in the description for more people to reach you out. Can you please let us know about it?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. If you want to learn more about me, you can check out my website. It is missdorytutoring.com. And yeah, it'll be in the link below, the exact spelling. You can email me at missdoritutoring@gmail.com. If you live in a different country, I have WhatsApp, so you can text me for no cost if you have WhatsApp. And if you're on Facebook, you can find me there at either under my name of Dori Osmond or under Miss Dori Tutoring or Math Tutor Dori. So I should be easy to find me on Facebook as well. And absolutely, I would be delighted to answer any questions you have. If you've got math questions or competition math or SAT math or ACT math that you want help with, I'd love to help you with that. And or if it's other tutors out there and you just want to connect, I absolutely welcome you. Please reach out, please contact me. And yeah, let's make the world a better tutoring world.
Yeah. A better tutoring world.
Yeah.
And the product, the best students.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the goal, right? That's the goal. Yeah,
Yep.
education is so important. So
Yep.
yeah, never
So
stop learning.
it was a very insightful, knowledgeable interview. Dori, I really thank you from the bottom of my heart that you honored us being by being here on the interview series. I really thank you so much on my and my team's behalf. Thank you so much, Dori.
My absolute pleasure. Thank you, Vivek. I appreciate it. I really enjoyed speaking with you. I hope you have a wonderful day.
Yeah,
And
it's
I
night
can't wait.
here. You have a wonderful day. I'll
Oh, I'm
have a
sorry.
wonderful
You have a
night.
really good sleep. You said that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Bye
Anyway,
bye,
it's been
Dori.
my absolute pleasure. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Have a great
Bye bye. Bye
night.
bye.
I said it
Yeah.
again.
Have a good day, Dori. Bye bye.